Hello again, friends.
You set out on a mission. It's not quite done yet, but you did make it to this part right now. So I guess just talk about the emotion of kind of being back in that seat and knowing what's ahead.
And now, welcoming to the black table, Juliana the Killer Miller. Just to reminisce, It's good to be back. I'm bringing the energy. I couldn't be more grateful to be here with you guys, man. And I'm ready to put on a show.
Talk about the journey to get here. We hear about, people say it's a rewarding one, but it's also a very challenging one. I guess, how would you classify kind of the Ultimate Fighter experience?
A roller coaster, the ones that have the water at the end, where you get kind of splashed and you like it, but at the same time you're kind of puzzled, like, what's going on here, It really is just like a wild ride. I'm grateful for the whole experience. But if someone was like, hey, Juju, you want to go back to the Ultimate Fighter tomorrow for another 2 fights? I'd be like, no, thank you.
All right, talk about what you got here. As an opponent, Brogan, I guess, what have you seen in her? What do you think about her as, a fighter?
As I'm sure y'all have heard time and time again, she has so much more experience than me. She's been fighting forever and said is going to knock me the F out as soon as I step forward. Almost all of that is true. She is a more experienced fighter. She's been in here forever. She's incredibly strong. She's got a brick-like body. I mean, from top to bottom, just absolutely solid. However, she's not a fan favorite because she's not entertaining to watch. I'm here to bring the entertainment, to bring the fun, to bring a dogfight, to show you guys why you're fans of this sport. We're here for a war. It's not just about winning. It's about your energy and your showmanship throughout the entirety of the process. And to be quite frank, I like teaching people a lesson, so I'm here to humbly give that to Brogan about all the mean things that she's been saying, because I've been nothing short of respectful. I do think she's an incredible fighter, and there's a reason we're face-to-face here in the finale, and I'm quite excited to put on that show.
In fairness, pretty much everybody in the division is going to have more experience than you, right? I mean, you're very early in your career, so I wonder, it's got to be exciting to be here, right, this early in your career, but is there a little bit of, I don't want to say intimidation or nerves, but, you win this fight, you're in the UFC, still very early in your career, still learning the game at the highest level. Is that scary at all, the thought of that?
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying, if I'm being quite honest. A lot of people have the opportunity to slowly build their record, kind of choose their fights. I did not. However, here's the thing. I'm constantly underestimated because I have no experience. However, there's an extreme amount of room for growth. Every single fight I step in the cage, people are like, who is this woman? She's a new fighter. With girls like Brogan that have been doing the same thing forever and ever, guess who we're going to see in that cage on Saturday? The same Brogan Walker we have seen for the past 9 fights. Guess who you're going to see in the cage from me? You're going to see a brand new killer. You're going to see a composure like you've never seen before, and a tenacity that never leaves my soul. It's something quite exciting, actually, to have the lack of experience. She has no idea what I've learned. She has no idea what I'm going to be doing. She thinks that I'm going to stick my head down and rush at her, which may be partially true. We all know with the bullhorns I'm coming at you, but it's going to be with an intellectual level that she's not prepared for because I've grown so much, and I'm so new in the sport. So as scary as it is, it's quite exciting.
You had a great message on the show. You talk about fighting for a purpose and fighting for others. How much does that drive you on a daily basis? Is that something you think about all the time, or is that just you got to think about yourself most days, but when you can send that message, you do. How much does that drive you on a daily basis?
To be quite honest, this is a bit embarrassing to share with the world, but it is true. When you're someone like me and you've come from rock bottom, and you've been at a place where you don't want to be alive anymore, sometimes you look down and you see a scar, so every day is a reminder of where you came from. I didn't have a rich family. I grew up in an abusive home, in a town where I was constantly bullied and beaten, and that never goes away. It's something that every damn day I have to battle through. I talk about emotional intelligence not because I'm emotionally intelligent, because this is what I'm working on every single day to try to be a successful human. Trauma doesn't disappear. It's literally a cycle that every day you're getting 1% better. But when you stop working on that muscle, what happens? It withers away. If I stop exercising, what's going to happen to my body? So for me, this is just my everyday battle that I'm sharing with the world of, hey, listen, if I can make it, you can too. And it's honestly true, because 4 years ago, I was on a couch, ready to give up on my life. That's what it is. It's embarrassing that I was mentally weak enough to get to that place. But to have this platform, 99% of the world has gone through a depression at least one phase in their life. If I could ask everyone in this room to raise your hand if you've ever felt sad or depressed or had thoughts of what the future is for them, are they scared of it? If you're being honest, I can guarantee damn near every hand is going to be like, you know what, I've been through that. And everyone likes to say, oh, I'm fearless, this is fun, blah, blah, blah. But life is hard. But if we band together, we can continuously make this a better world for the people in front of us, for the next generation. What about all these kids who've never learned how to deal with their anger? They go out, hit someone, now they're in jail, now they're in the system, trying to find a better way of life. As parents, as adults, what we can do is work on ourselves to provide a better path for these children. And that's something that I will never forget. I have 5 nephews and a niece, and I want to show them that everything they've been through, their father died at a young age. There's just, everyone in the world is battling their own thing, whether it's mental or physical abuse, it's consistently happening. And I'm here to make the difference and to speak about it and to say that we really can do something. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to show my strength and my determination to, no matter what happens, maybe Brogan will punch me and I'll fall down, but she sure as hell will never keep me down. I'm going to keep standing back up, and I will use my voice no matter who hates it.
That's pretty phenomenal. Great message. I guess last thing I'd ask you, obviously, we're talking about bigger things now. We're just talking about a fist fight in a cage, but it's a big moment in your career, I know. So how do you see this fight? I'm sure you've played it out a million times. How do you see this fight going? Do you think this is going to be a crazy kind of back and forth brawl that you got to gut out? Is it something that you can go dominate early? How do you see this thing going?
I have visualized every possible outcome besides one where I lose. There is nowhere in my head that I see walking away from this without a win. She talked so much smack about knocking me out that I would love the alternative where I land and I stand and look over her like, oh, look where you're at now, just that moment of satisfaction of, hey, you said you're going to do this to me, look what I'm going to do to you. I've also seen the altercation of, us on the ground and getting a dominant finish with a TKO. I've watched myself submit her. There is endless options. However, realistically, on paper, how I believe it's going to go is that this is going to be a 3-round fight. Brogan's going to throw 1 or 2 punches, circle away, run away. When she feels my power, I think she's going to try to clench and hold me on the cage. If she can get a snap down, she'll do her double overs, stick her tummy right to the dirt and try to hold me there until infinity, because this is what she does every single fight. For me to go in there with the utmost confidence saying I'm just going to destroy her, that is just unrealistic. Of course I see that and I want that. However, I feel that I'm really going to have to show my warrior spirit and pull her into the depths of hell, which she's never been before. I've watched every single one of her fights. She's never been bloody. She's never been broken. She's never been taken to that place of extreme worry of like, oh my God, what's happening to me right now? But you know what? Neither had Caitlin Neal. She had never been finished. So I believe that with some elbows and a few open cuts, I will be able to get the finish. But Brogan Walker is a very experienced opponent, and I think that she's coming in there for the finish too. So we'll see where it leads.
Yeah. What did you think of the show when you actually watched it? And were you surprised at some of the things they left in there and some of the things they took out?
Oh man, there was so much drama left out of there.
Please share.
I'm quite bamboozled at the lack of drama. I'm just like, I'm like, whoa, man, they made it seem like everyone was like so chill most of the time, besides me, which I will say there was a lot more drama in there, you know. It's interesting too because I've talked to a lot of the other girls after the fights, and they're like, man, they made it seem like I was such a team player when in reality I was a realist. They just didn't show that. So that's the thing about these things, and honestly, this is the reason why I just speak my truth all of the time. Love me or hate me, this is who I am on and off screen, is because you never know what they're going to show on there. And there was an instance, kind of funny now that I'm fighting Brogan, where it showed us putting silly string for Zach's birthday. And however, a few days later, all the coaches came over and Kamaru came to visit Mo, and it was just chaos in the house after the UFC fights. Well, Hannah, Laura, and I actually grabbed some cans of silly string and we silly stringed Team Nunes. And at the table was Claire, Brogan, Chandler, and I believe it was like Niall or something. There was about 4 or 5 people there, and we just silly stringed them, and I got Brogan right in the face with this silly string, and it was so funny, and she was so mad, and like she was stomping around, and it's like, you know, this is just a joke. There's been no pranks on the show. We're trying to spice it up a little, and you know, afterwards I was like sweeping up the house, and she walks up to me and she goes, "Was it worth it?" And I looked at her and I was like, hell yeah, what, you don't like to smile a little? Come on, girl. We go to practice the next day. They had found some leftover silly string and they swept it all up. And Hannah and I went to walk into our room, and then there's just this huge pile of dirt and silly string and trash sitting right in front of our door. And we're like, come on, dude, really? Like, it's just like so much petty little things that, you know, didn't necessarily make it in there. But for me, you know, producers, if you're hearing this, if you could please send me that video of the silly string right to the face, I'll cherish that moment forever.
Hey, Juju. You were on record and you bashed Bobby Maximus a couple times. Do you still feel the same way that you did?
Yeah, you know, absolutely. They said that everything that I was saying was because I was crazy. However, multiple other people from the team felt the same as I. I am unsure why he was so keen on spending all of his time with the women from Team Nunes, but that was just his MO. You know, Bobby wasn't focused in practice. He didn't show up for anyone on our team. There was multiple times we said, hey, what about us? You want to give us some advice? And he just didn't feel that way. Everybody's energy is different, but when you're in a committed relationship, I think that you should focus on yourself and on your boys instead of trotting around the house. You know, even Zach said, oh, Bobby's snake box meeting. Like, it's common knowledge for everyone in the house that this dude just literally loves the attention from these females. And, you know, go on Brogan Walker's Instagram and all you can say is, you got this, Brogan, let's go, on every single post, which is cool, man. But guess what? Like, it was a team sport, and honestly, bro, you're just making yourself look more and more lame every single day. And, you know, I still feel the same way. So, sorry, not sorry.
The UFC is going to San Diego next week. Are you disappointed that you're not on that card?
Nah, I'm just excited to be here, honestly. And you know what? Now I get to watch the fights from the comfort of cookies and gummy bears, hopefully with someone handsome next to me, you know, trying to celebrate the win. I'm just excited that UFC is coming to San Diego. I mean, what a feat. If you ever come back, I would love to be fighting there. But for now, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to share my experience and go out there and put on a show.
And finally, I just want your thoughts on Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes. They fought this past weekend, and just want your thoughts on that fight.
Man, what a war, huh? Dude, that was an incredible fight. Juliana has a no-quit heart of a warrior. I mean, man, she is just a dog to Amanda. It's actually quite interesting now that I am fighting Brogan, because I feel that Amanda pulled a Brogan. Amanda has never in the history of any of her fights fought southpaw. She came up southpaw, hitting people. She hit Juliana with the kind of weird like jab hook, and that's what kept dropping her. And I feel that they weren't necessarily prepared for that stance switch, which is interesting because Brogan's not a southpaw, and she stands southpaw to put her power hand in front, and she's dropped multiple girls with it. So it's kind of like, I'm like, whoa, dude, she's facing what I was preparing for this whole time, and it kind of made me think, I'm like, is Brogan going to go regular stance to trick me? Honestly, I hope so. But that was just an incredible war. I can't wait for the trilogy. I think that this time on the third match, Juliana is going to be ready for absolutely anything. And, I'm Team Pena till I die. I think that both women are incredible athletes. And I would like to say a thank you to them, first off, for putting women's MMA on such a pedestal. I mean, women headliners like that, it is really showing that like how exciting we can be. For the longest time, women have been fighting tooth and nail to even make it to the top level, to be allowed into the UFC. I mean, she was the first woman ever allowed into the TUF season and won that shit. So it's just incredibly badass, and both of them are warriors. I'm so grateful that they put on such an exciting show, and next time for the trilogy, I will be there live screaming my bloody head off. Let's go, Vixen. Team Penny, baby.
Awesome. Thank you.